medical costs you $400 per month, you're requesting she pay you medical support of $200 per month?
Correct. Like $177 is for like the child support. The medical through my job is like $400 through Jameson. So even her half of it doesn't even cover the medical side of it. I just don't understand if Jameson's with me 100% of the time.
Ms. Jackson, when's the last time you worked?
It's been about 2 years. I'm a stay-at-home mom.
Not much I can do here. Obviously, Ms. Jackson is unemployed. There aren't a lot of resources for me to set it at a higher amount.
Notice of change status. We do have a partial agreement, and I will read the agreed terms into the record. So the parties are in agreement that the child is living with Mr. Murphy, and they will be appointed as joint managing conservators with Mr. Murphy to designate the child's primary residence in Dallas and contiguous counties. Mr. Murphy has access to private insurance, medical and dental insurance through his employer, and he's agreed to enroll or keep the child enrolled in that insurance. We have calculated child support for Ms. Jackson based on minimum wage and giving her credit for 2 other minor children. And so she's agreed to pay child support of $177 per month beginning October 1st, 2023. Mr. Murphy was previously ordered to pay support. He does not have any child support arrears, however, and so we're requesting a child support judgment against Mr. Murphy of $0 as of September 12th, 2023. He does have a small medical support arrearage that we're requesting be confirmed of $145.95 as of September 12th, 2023, and he's agreed to pay that balance off fully by November 1st, 2023. We are requesting that Ms. Jackson pay the court costs as billed by Dallas County. Parties agree that there's been no family violence in the last 2 years, and neither parent is requesting a non-disclosure. There is an agreement on a visitation schedule. I will read the agreed visitation schedule out. So the parties are in agreement that the mother, Ms. Jackson, will have unsupervised contact with the child, and she'll exercise her right to visitation on weekends, but she'll give 14 days notice in writing prior to picking up the child. The parents are going to agree on a designated exchange location, and Ms. Jackson's period of possession will be Friday at 6 p.m. Or she'll pick up the child from school, and then she will either bring the child back to father on Sunday at 6 p.m. or back to school on Monday morning. The parties also agree that Mr. Murphy will be allowed 2 times per year to decline mother's request to have the child on the weekends. He'll have to provide this denial in writing within 48 hours of her request. They've also come to an agreement on holiday schedule, including Ms. Jackson having possession of the child every spring break, and then as well as 45 days in the summer. She also must provide 14-day written notice to the father, including the address of where the child will be located during these times, and if she and the child will be out of state. If they'll be out of the country, she will get prior approval from the father, and Mr. Murphy will provide the child's passport. They've agreed to alternate possession of the child on holidays. So mom will have possession for Thanksgiving and odd years, and father will have possession on Thanksgiving and even years. Christmas will be the opposite of Thanksgiving break. And the parties are in agreement that the location services on the child's phone be turned on at all times during their periods of possession. And if the child's phone dies or is broken, the party in possession of the child will be responsible for having the phone repaired or recharged within a reasonable time frame. And the contested issues are the medical and the dental support amounts. And so I'll take testimony on those issues. I will call the father, Mr. Murphy. Will you please state your name?
John Murphy.
And what's the child's name?
Jameson Murphy.
And how old is he?
7.
All right. And he is currently in your possession, is that correct?
Correct.
Did you hear those agreements I just read into the record?
Yes, ma'am.
And as to those specific terms, are you in agreement?
Yes, ma'am.
And you carry health and dental insurance for the child through your employer, correct?
Yes, ma'am. Well, not currently, because he was currently on medical support through his mom through like Medicaid or something I was paying for monthly. Once we conclude everything with Judge Aguilar or whatnot, then I'll get with my HR department with the paperwork necessary to get insurance to my job.
Okay, and the health insurance premium will cost you $400 per month, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. If I'm not mistaken, that's what I submitted to my lawyer. Yes, ma'am.
And is that coverage for you and your son or just for your son's portion?
Ms. Page, Jessica, I forgot how I had that listed out. I believe that's for Jameson's portion of it. I believe. I don't think that includes me whatsoever.
Okay. And then the dental portion will cost you $64 per month for to cover him. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And are you requesting that mom be ordered to pay you half of these premium costs?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, just a reimbursement of 50% of it. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so, for example, the medical costs you $400 per month. You're requesting she pay you medical support of $200 per month.
Correct.
Okay. And you're requesting that her dental support be set at $32 per month.
Yes, ma'am.
And based on her income, we've calculated a different amount for medical and dental support. The state's calculated medical support of $37 per month and dental support of $6 per month. But you're still requesting that she pay half of the costs that you incur.
Yes, ma'am. I mean, yes, ma'am. Yeah, long story short, yes.
Okay. I'll pass the witness.
Ms. Page, any questions?
Mr. Murphy, can you give the court some explanation as to why you want Ms. Jackson to pay more than the minimum wage required support?
So from my understanding, what was just stated from Ms. Nutt, like $177 is for like the child support or whatnot that will come back. The medical through my job is like $400 through Jameson. So even her half of it doesn't even cover the medical side of it. So I just don't understand if Jameson's with me 100% of the time, you know, what's the understanding of that? I don't grasp it.
Okay, and how long has Jameson been living in your household?
At least the last 16 to 18 months or so, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, and during those 16 or 18 months, have you been the primary financial provider for Jameson?
Absolutely, yes, ma'am.
And you covered all of his day-to-day needs, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
And
ma'am.
you've also covered any additional medical expenses for him, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and so you're not asking that Ms. Jackson pay half of your entire premium, including you and Jameson, but only half of Jameson's premium, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. And I think we had discussed that with her last time, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
And then lastly, you're not asking that she pay any of the additional medical expenses like co-pays or fees for glasses, only the premium, is that correct?
Absolutely. Yeah, everything else I'll get taken care of as I've been doing.
Okay, no further questions, Your Honor.
Okay.
The state will call the mother, Miss Jackson. Will you please state your name?
Amanda Jackson.
And Miss Jackson, did you hear those terms that I read out in the very beginning that you and Mr. Murphy agreed to?
Correct. Yes, I did.
And as to those specific terms, are you still in agreement?
Yes.
Okay. And we calculated support based on minimum wage, which would bring medical support to $37 per month and dental support to $6 per month. Are you in agreement with those amounts?
Yes, I am.
And you heard Mr. Murphy request that you be ordered to reimburse him half the cost of the dental and the medical portion for the child, correct?
Correct.
And is there any reason that you would not be able to pay half of those premium costs?
As of now, I'm unemployed. I've been looking for employment, but I'm not working right now.
Would that cost, if you had to pay that, would it be unreasonable?
It would be reasonable.
And are you a Dallas County resident?
I just relocated to Alabama.
I'll pass the witness.
All right, anything for Ms. Page, any questions?
Yeah, just a few, Your Honor. Ms. Jackson, you and I previously spoke about the medical premiums for your son Jameson. Is that correct?
Correct.
And you previously agreed that you would pay half of the medical premiums for the child at $200. Is that correct?
At first, correct. At first, I definitely had questions, as it's not feasible. But as I just stated, if I was to, go ahead and get employment, it would be feasible for me.
Okay. And tell me, Ms. Jackson, when's the last time you worked?
It's been about 2 years. I'm a stay-at-home mom.
Okay. And what did you do for employment at that time 2 years ago?
I was working for Colorado Department of Public Health, so customer service.
Okay. And what was your income at that time? Your monthly income?
Honestly, I don't remember. I don't remember.
Were you being paid hourly or salary?
It was hourly. So
Okay.
it was, I think I was making about maybe $16, $17 an hour.
Okay. And it's your testimony today that if you did gain employment again, then you would be able to pay the $200 a month for Jameson's premium.
Yes, that's fine.
All right. No further questions, Your Honor.
Okay, anything further, Ms. Nutt?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Anything further, Ms. Page?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Okay, the parts that all are agreed to, those are all fine with me. Those are confirmed as the order of the court. Unfortunately, with the medical, that's a problem. Obviously, it's not too fair here. There's not much that can be done because Ms. Jackson doesn't have an income. Because she's a stay-at-home mom, I'm gonna assess the that medical support should be a little higher than what the state assessed. I'm setting it at $100 a month instead of $37. And dental support, I'm gonna leave at $6 a month. There probably haven't been any costs before because Mr. Murphy hasn't carried insurance. Child's been on Medicaid, I guess, in whatever state the child's been in. And as far as the future payments, like as far as like copays and prescriptions, the state's court order they provide to me is 50-50. So y'all are to split those costs 50-50 if you choose to give that to the other party for them to pay. Not much I can do here. Obviously Ms. Jackson is unemployed. There's some argument, of course, that she's intentionally underemployed. So that's why I'm saying a little bit higher than what the state requested. But at the same time, there aren't a lot of resources for me to set it at a higher amount. So that means if the insurance is $400 a month, Mr. Murphy, that's going to be more on your table to pay for. You may look at other options, maybe the Affordable Care Act, to see if there's anything that may be cheaper. But definitely we need to get some insurance somewhere. And hopefully in the meantime, Ms. Jackson will find employment so that she can help share in some of the expenses of the medical care. With the unusual visitation order, I would like Ms. Page for you to receive a proposed order from the state before I sign off on it to make sure that it's all correct. It's a little bit unusual. I'm sure you're going to want to review that before. And so I'm not sure, were you working with Ms. Nutt before or with another attorney?
I was working with Ms. Phillip.
Ms. Phillip, okay. All right, y'all are done with court today and are excused. You can press leave on the Zoom to exit out. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.